And welcome to Fulgur channel. And today we have a pressing matter to discuss. In the South China Sea, tensions have flared as the Philippines and its allies respond decisively to a recent incident involving a Chinese vessel. It all began when a Philippine ship was struck by a Chinese vessel in the South China Sea. This alarming incident sent shockwaves through the international community, prompting immediate action from the Philippines' allies. The South China Sea, known for its territorial disputes, has once again become a focal point for global attention. The incident has led to widespread concerns about international relations and maritime security in the region. The Philippines, a sovereign nation, has strong alliances with several countries, including the United States, Japan, and Australia. In the face of this recent crisis, these allies have swiftly come to the Philippines' aid. Warships from these nations have been deployed to the South China Sea, sending a clear message of support and solidarity with the Philippines. This move underscores the seriousness of the situation and the commitment of these nations to maintaining stability in the region. The United States renewed a warning Monday that it would defend the Philippines in case of an armed attack under a 1951 treaty, after Chinese ships blocked and collided with two Filipino vessels off a contested shoal in the South China Sea. Philippine diplomats summoned a Chinese embassy official in Manila on Monday for a strongly worded protest following Sunday's collisions off Second Thomas Shoal. No injuries were reported, but the encounters damaged a Philippine Coast Guard ship and a wooden-hulled supply boat operated by Navy personnel, officials said. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. called an emergency meeting with the Defense Secretary and other top military and security officials to discuss the latest hostilities in the disputed waters. The Philippines and other neighbors of China have resisted Beijing's sweeping territorial claims over virtually the entire South China Sea, and some, like Manila, have sought U.S. military support as incidents multiply. After the meeting, Defense Secretary Gilberto Teodoro blasted China in a news conference for resorting to brute force that he said endangered Filipino crew members and for twisting the facts to conceal its aggression. The Philippine government views the latest aggression by China as a blatant violation of international law. Teodoro said, "China has no legal right or authority to conduct law enforcement operations in our territorial waters and in our exclusive economic zone." Marcos ordered an investigation of the high-sea collisions, Teodoro said, but he refused to disclose what steps the Philippine government would take. "We are taking these incidents seriously at the highest levels of government," he said, adding that the government called for a news conference to provide accurate facts. "The Chinese government is deliberately obfuscating the truth," the defense chief said. The Philippines also plans to raise its alarm over the Chinese ship's dangerous maneuvers in talks between China and the Association of Southeast Asian Nations on a proposed non-aggression pact, a code of conduct, to prevent a major armed conflict in the South China Sea. Beijing is hosting the three-day negotiations starting Monday. Two Philippine officials told the Associated Press on condition of anonymity because of a lack of authority to publicly discuss details of the talks. Teodoro said it was very ironic that China was hosting the talks that aimed to prevent major conflicts at sea when they just committed a blatant disregard of international law. The territorial conflicts involving China, the Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, Taiwan, and Brunei have long been regarded as a flashpoint in a delicate fault line in the U.S.-China rivalry. About 5 Chinese Coast Guard ships, 8 accompanying vessels, and 2 Navy ships formed a blockade on Sunday to prevent 2 Philippine Coast Guard ships and 2 boats from delivering food and other supplies to Filipino forces stationed at Second Thomas Shoal aboard a marooned Navy ship, Philippine Coast Guard Commodore J. Terrilla said. During the standoff, one of the Philippine Coast Guard ships and a supply boat were separately hit by a Chinese Coast Guard ship and a vessel. Only one of the 2 Filipino boats managed to deliver supplies to Philippine forces, Terrilla said. The senior Chinese diplomat who was summoned by Philippine foreign officials repeated China's assertion that the Philippine vessels intruded into Chinese territory. The Chinese Coast Guard on Sunday blamed the Philippine vessels for causing the collisions and said the Filipinos were carrying construction materials to strengthen their outpost at the shoal. The U.S. and other allies expressed alarm over the Chinese action. Washington renewed a warning that it's obligated to defend the Philippines under a 1951 mutual defense treaty if Filipino forces, ships, and aircraft come under an armed attack, including those of its Coast Guard anywhere in the South China Sea. The United States stands with our Philippine allies in the face of the People's Republic of China Coast Guard and maritime militias' dangerous and unlawful actions, obstructing an October 22 Philippine resupply mission to Second Thomas Shoal. The U.S. State Department said in a statement issued by its embassy in Manila. It blamed the dangerous maneuvers by China's ships for the collisions and added that they violated international law by intentionally interfering with the Philippine vessels' exercise of high seas freedom of navigation. The State Department also cited a 2016 arbitration ruling that invalidated China's expansive claims to the South China Sea on historical grounds, including in Second Thomas Shoal. Washington lays no claims to the disputed sea, but has deployed forces to patrol the waters to promote freedom of navigation and overflight moves that have angered Beijing, which has warned the U.S. to stop meddling in what it says is a purely Asian dispute. In addition to the military response, diplomatic channels are also active. High-level talks are underway to address the incident and prevent further escalation. The international community is closely watching as developments unfold. We've reached out to experts in international relations to gain insights into the implications of this incident. What does it mean for the South China Sea dispute, and how might it affect global politics? Let's hear from the experts. As this situation continues to evolve, one thing is clear: tensions in the South China Sea are at a critical point. The actions taken by the Philippines and its allies will shape the course of events in this region. Stay tuned for updates on this developing story. If you found this video informative, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to Fulgur channel, and ring the notification bell for the latest updates on international affairs. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.